Act 1 of Galahad Jones, a comedy by Arthur Adams. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Galahad Jones, a comedy with a tragic tang. Dramatised from Galahad Jones, a novel by Arthur H. Adams. Persons in the comedy:
Galahad Jones, read by Adrian Stevens.
Sybil Beach, read by Beth Thomas.
Hoyle, read by Devorah Allen.
The Butcher, read by Son of the Exiles.
Edward Beach, read by Todd.
The Doctor, read by Alan Mapstone.
Kathy Jones, read by T.J. Burns.
Horace Lothian, read by Thomas Peter.
The Young Man, read by Lian Yao.
M. Jones, read by Sonia.
Stage directions by Michael Maggs. Act 1. Sybil's Garden and, over the wall, the street. Saturday afternoon. Act 2. The same, the evening after. Act 3. Interior of Galahad's dining room. Sunday afternoon, 3 weeks later. Act 4. Sybil's Garden and the street, the same evening. The action takes place at Sydney, Australia. Act 1. Scene: looking from Sydney Harbour at the waterfront of a residence at Elizabeth Bay, your view takes in addition to the garden that slopes down to the water's edge, a portion of a curving, narrow street that leads to the water. You do not see the water, which would be where the footlights are, but you note the stone coping a few inches high, which runs right across the stage a few feet behind the footlights, representing the top of the stone wall that marks the harbour edge. Between the garden and the street runs a high stone wall, the end of which, protected by an ironwork affair of spikes, fronts you. The effect is that you can see both what is happening in the garden and what occurs in the street. A stone wall runs diagonally from your right to near the centre of the scene. A garden gate breaks it about halfway up. Portion of another stone wall, right on the waterfront, is seen jutting out on your right. A narrow footpath runs along the garden wall, and at the corner there is a lamp-post. A couple of piles, the tops only being seen, rise a couple of feet above the stone coping of the waterfront at the near end of the street. The top of these piles would make a comfortable seat for a man fishing. The other end of the street is hidden by the curve of the wall, and over this wall are seen the tops of trees, and, further off, the roofs of buildings. The garden, occupying most of the scene, is terraced. From the waterfront it runs back level for a few yards, then rises in a turf bank capped by a low stone balustrade. Behind this a summer-house stands, covered with the purple of wisteria in blossom, a rustic-looking structure of untrimmed beams. A rough, rustic wooden seat is at the door. A curving path runs down to the waterfront. It breaks the terrace by a few stone steps. 3 garden seats are placed in the garden, one of them being set against the garden wall. Trees, shrubs and flowers fill the garden as it runs back to the big house, seen behind the foliage. On your left is a jacaranda tree in flower. A blue sky hangs over all. It is late afternoon. Galahad Jones, a plump, undistinguished, genial, middle-aged little man with a pudgy moustache, dressed in the well-worn, respectable clothes of a bank clerk past his illusions, is seen on one of the piles at the waterfront of the street. He has a small sprig of boronia in his buttonhole. He is occupied in baiting a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?